Very good.
Muhammad Ali, named Sportsman of the Century, has died this evening.
मशहूर मुक्केबाज Muhammad Ali.
World champion Muhammad Ali. I didn't think it was real.
It's as if Mount Rushmore fell down.
Anything in this corner from Louisville, Kentucky.
Ali's hometown is reacting to his death.
We didn't fully understand how big of a deal this was.
June of 2016 was a tremendously emotional time.
And how do we do it right for our city?
The outpouring of love this city showed him was fantastic.
Presidents have had that kind of impact, whether it was Lincoln or FDR, but he's not president. He's a popular culture figure who became something more.
He was funny. He was beautiful. He was the most perfect athlete you ever saw, and those were his own words.
That have brought us all here today.
His name is Muhammad Ali. He is from Louisville, Kentucky, and he lives in each and every one of us. And his story is far from over.
It's not impossible for me to cry. It's just the heart I
Please join me in welcoming our great mayor, Fischer.
All right.
That week of Muhammad Ali's funeral was one of the most incredible moments in our city's history, and I can tell you that being part of that was one of the great honors in my life, and I'm sure it was for many of you all as well. So a few thank yous. You heard from Luke already, but first I want to thank the Rotary Club for their tremendous mission of service that they show us every day. We have tremendous partners on the Metro Council. They've been recognized. Thank you all so much, as well as the team from my office. We are really excited to be here in our 8th year. And then thanks, of course, to the Muhammad Ali Center. They work with us in so many different ways. They're great hosts today and great partners to our city, just like Lonnie Ali is and the entire Ali family for being tireless champions for our city and for helping us with so many projects, including the documentary that you just saw the preview of. And we're looking forward to debuting our finished film right here during the I Am Ali Festival, which is the first week of June. And we're thrilled that people who come into town for that and so many world-class events will be arriving at the Louisville Muhammad Ali International Airport. I want to thank Louisville Regional Airport Authority and Board Chair Jim Welch and the entire board for making this historic change, and it further links our city to one of the most beloved, respected, and well-known people that the world has ever seen. And what set Ali apart, what made him the greatest, was a combination of unique gifts: speed, strength, coordination, personality, and lots of charisma. Plus, something much rare, the vision to see the opportunity in front of him and the determination to achieve that vision. Yeah. Ali saw that he could be more than a great athlete. He could be a spokesman for people whose voices needed to be heard. And he refused to let the world dictate what he would be. Legendary filmmaker Ken Burns is also planning a documentary about the champ, and he described Ali as, quote, maybe the most iconic figure of the 20th century. He arrived at exactly the right moment amidst the tumult and upheaval of the 1960s, and he shaped his times with his powerful voice, mesmerizing presence, and achievements in the ring. And President Clinton said at Ali's memorial, quote, he decided very young to write his own life's story. That's what made Ali a great role model, I can tell you, for me, for our city, and for billions of people around the world. especially now, because this is another great moment of change in society, in technology, and in our economy, and a time to embrace Ali's spirit and boldly make our own future. We have the potential today to create prosperity that reaches every neighborhood, to compete and win on a global stage, and set our city up for success for generations to come. To be sure, the state of the city is strong right now. Since 2011, in the shadows of the Great Recession, our city has created 80,000 new jobs, 2,700 new businesses, welcomed $13 billion in capital investment, including nearly $1 billion in West Louisville. We transformed our skyline with new bridges and landmarks. We renovated the gorgeous Kentucky International Convention Center, built about 24 new hotels, and we now attract about 16 million visitors a year. We've achieved these successes thanks to ambitious goals, smart investments, and strong partnerships. That combination is what keeps the state of our city going strong and what attracts even more investment and opportunity. And there is more to come. Think about just this next year. The new soccer stadium district in Butchertown, the restored and reimagined Colonial Gardens near Iroquois Park, the Paristown development with a new performance venue for our partners at the Kentucky Center. This year we'll celebrate the expansion of the St. Matthew's Library and the grand opening of the new Northeast Regional Library, our third regional library to open in 5 years. This is what happens when we decide to write our own story. And as you can see in the beautiful progress reports on your table, we've made our city strong through smart investments and strong partnerships, and like Ali, by capitalizing on our unique assets. If you want some of these for your business coffee tables, please let us know. We've got to brag on our city. Now in business, we use those assets to develop 5 clusters for success. In advanced manufacturing, business services, food and beverage, lifelong wellness and aging care, and logistics and e-commerce. In compassion, we've created the Give a Day Week of Service and the Compassionate Schools Project. And in tourism, our city has become a 365-day-a-year destination, thanks in part to Bourbonism, the combination of our distillery experiences, our hospitality, and our world-renowned local food and restaurant scene. Bourbonism provides us with a model of how we can use Louisville's own unique cultural assets to not only attract tourists, but also build a unique brand, global brand, and grow jobs. So all of this growth represents good success for us together. But I believe we're just getting started. If this were a 15-round title fight, we're just in the 2nd or 3rd round. And that's why, Rockmont, we got to keep pushing. We have to avoid the mentality that better than before is good enough. There was a moment last year that struck with me. At the opening of the world-class Omni Hotel, a project that we had worked on for 5 years, a lady approached me and said, "I can't believe we have something like this in Louisville." And of course, my immediate reaction was, why? Why would you say that? The people of Louisville deserve a world-class city and a world-class future. And they shouldn't be surprised to see it right here in our home. That's why we've been working since day one of my administration on all of these projects, becoming more than what we were, comparing ourselves to the best. That's what we deserve. And today, with the same sense of urgency that we felt on that first day in office, my Metro government team has created a new 100-day plan posted on our website to guide the early days of my 3rd term in office. Building on all that we have learned and achieved these past 8 years, we're raising our standards and our expectations of ourselves and our city's potential even higher. Which brings us to the question: what other unique cultural or knowledge assets do we have that, if we come together in a spirit of innovation and collaboration, can we build for further growth for our city? Think about it. Sports, arts and culture, great outdoor spaces, a growing tech scene, a rich and growing music and festival scene, with a hometown of icons like Pee Wee Reese, Jennifer Lawrence, Hunter Thompson, and of course, Muhammad Ali. Since we're here, on his birthday, let's use Ali as an example. His global imprint was immensely larger than his contemporary to the south, Elvis Presley. And Elvis Week brings 40,000 people to Memphis. The I Am Ali Festival, now in its third year, has the potential to be much bigger than that. This is just one example of how we should, in the new year, look at ourselves, our city, and our future with new eyes. We need to see the transformations that are happening, but also those that could happen. Take our business clusters, for example. To keep our city and our economy going strong, we have to adapt to a changing world by focusing on innovation and globalization. And look at West Louisville, where we are creating transformative projects, like the expansion of Waterfront Park, Phase 4, the Louisville Urban League Sports and Learning Complex at 30th and Ali, plus the new YMCA and new Passport headquarters at 18th and Broadway, the Beecher Terrace and Russell revitalization. And Russell is the kind of investment and intentional work we're doing to ensure that our city's prosperity is a shared prosperity. We received a $5 million grant from the Keenan Charitable Trust to help us revitalize this historic neighborhood, once called the Harlem of the South, in a way that benefits the people who live there today, increasing the number of homes and businesses owned by our African American community. Because there is no point in lifting up our neighborhoods if we don't lift up our neighbors at the same time. We're also committed to smart and sustainable growth, growth that sows the seeds of equity, where every citizen has the access to a great education, career opportunities, quality health care, housing, and the means to create a successful life. Of course, part of that means facing our challenges, including discrimination and inequities that keep some of our residents from reaching their full human potential. Tomorrow, we're launching Lean Into Louisville, an unprecedented series of conversations, presentations, activities, and art to explore, confront, and act on the history and legacy of all forms of discrimination and inequality in our city and in our country. We know this is part of our history. The champ himself experienced it. Take a look.
Won the Olympic gold medal in Rome, Italy. Olympic champion, the Russian standing right here, and the Pole right here. Is Poland considered a communist country? Yeah, I'm defeating America's so-called threats. Here it is. And the flag is going dun 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 dun. I'm standing so proud. Dun 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 dun. And I booked the world for America. Dun dun dun. I took my gold medal, thought I'd invented something. I said, man, I know I'm going to get my people freedom there. I'm the champion of the whole world, Olympic champion. I know I can eat downtown now. I went downtown that day, had my little medal on it, went to restaurants. At that time, like, things weren't integrated. Black folks couldn't eat downtown. And I went downtown, I sat down, and I said, a cup of coffee, hot dog. They said, we don't serve Negroes. So man, I said, I don't eat them either. Just give me a cup.
So in that clip, Muhammad takes an extraordinarily painful moment and uses humor to enlighten people. And enlightenment, raising our city's consciousness, is a big part of Lean Into Louisville. The initiative's name reflects our understanding that we must lean into these subjects to understand the historical roots of discrimination and to understand that classism, bigotry, hate, and violence have no place in any city that expects a growing and prosperous future. I'm also working with partners this legislative session in Frankfurt to strengthen penalties for hate crimes, like the vicious act of racist violence last October that took the lives of Louisvillians Maurice Stoller and Victor Lee Jones. That horrible day was the latest reminder of the violence and racism faced by African Americans, both historically and today. We must send a loud, clear message that hate has no place in our city, our state, or our country.
Right. Yeah.
And we're cognizant that those crimes, like so many homicides and assaults, were committed with a gun. We must do more to address gun violence. Because while the prevention programs we've created are working, with homicides down more than 30% in the last 2 years, there are still far too many preventable shootings and deaths. But at the city level, our level, we are preempted by the state statute from taking any action. That in and of itself is shameful. Too many, especially elected officials, act like we're helpless to prevent gun violence. Our country is never helpless. Frankfurt and Washington can and must do more to keep our communities safe and still respect the rights of law-abiding gun owners. Like requiring all gun transactions to be handled by a licensed gun dealer, allowing police to confiscate and destroy weapons used in criminal acts. These are common sense reforms that will save lives and are supported by over 85% of Americans, including NRA members. Another issue we're facing with state government is the pension situation. Louisville is facing an increased pension obligation of $10 million this year, $20 million this next year, $30 million the year after that. Within 5 years, our annual pension obligation is projected to be $50 million more per year than it is now, and will stay at that level for the foreseeable future. That puts serious pressure on our city budget. In the last 8 years, your metro government has focused on finding efficiencies and synergies, consolidating services, and accomplishing more with fewer people. Our continued high bond ratings attest to that fact, and that we run a lean and efficient operation. That's another reason I can say that the state of the city is strong. But without additional revenue, we now face the prospect of serious cuts in services that will impact every connection between Louisvillians and their city government. The number of police on our streets, the hours you can visit your local library, fire stations, maintenance in our public parks. And all this would severely hamstring the momentum that we are experiencing as a city. It's unacceptable, and it is unavoidable. Cities all across Kentucky need the state to remove outdated restrictions that prevent us from finding ways to raise revenue that works best for us. Frankfurt seems focused on changing the structure of the pension system. But as the major bond rating agency Fitch stated last week, it is the inadequate funding of pensions that is the critical issue. The emphasis with solving the pension problem should be on funding, responsible expense management, and new revenue sources. Strong partnerships, they're key to our city's success. That's why we're working with the Metro Council, community partners like the Coalition for the Homeless, to meet the needs of our homeless population. Right now, we're adding storage systems and low barrier beds to get people out of the elements. And we will keep working to provide each man, woman, and child living in our streets with access to shelter, food, and the services they need to go beyond shelter life and realize their full human potential. We're also working to deepen and strengthen our partnership with the University of Louisville. If you look at growing cities around the country, the city-university relationship, the town and gown relationship, is always a critical component. Our city is a platform for Dr. Neely Bendapudi and her team to produce discoveries that benefit their cities, their students, our city, and the world. We also partner with the University of Kentucky with their Studio Louisville project, whose president, Eli Capilouto, is here with us today. Welcome, President Capilouto. Technology. We must keep adapting and preparing for the future, embracing technology in every aspect of life, from the smart traffic signaling on Dixie Highway to getting more people access to high-speed internet and the tools to use it. And again, to keep the state of the city strong, we're radically scaling our investment in technology workforce training. We need to open more doors for more people like U.S. Armory veteran Sergeant Dustin Doom. Sergeant Doom, I know you're here with us today. Please stand. Dustin served our country defusing bombs in Iraq. At home, he enrolled in Code Louisville, got free software coding training, and today he works as a great software developer. So Dustin, thank you for your service to America. Sergeant Doom is one of more than 335 people Code Louisville is connected to tech careers, with average salaries close to $50,000. In the current waiting list for Code Louisville, over 1,200 people. So we must continue to grow programs like Code Louisville so we can win even more jobs of the future and get that talent here in our city. We know our workforce needs more engineers and scientists who specialize in software development, robotics, data analytics, and artificial intelligence. We will partner with U of L, UK, Jefferson Community and Technical College, JCPS, and other education and private sector partners to meet the changing needs of our employers. Our goal is to quintuple, to increase by 5 times the number of people receiving technology workforce training in Louisville in the next 4 years. That's an ambitious goal, but it is within our reach, because this is the work that we have been doing, work that help us earn a place on Dell Technologies' list of 50 global cities enabling innovation and change through technology. Just this past year, we achieved another huge milestone, earning national recognition as a top 15 city for millennial growth. That's really big for us. It means we're attracting young professionals and going from brain drain to brain gain. To attract even more young talent, we will keep our focus on issues like protecting our environment, cultivating our outdoor spaces, expanding our festivals, our art, music, culture, and food scenes. The truth is, we've got a lot to brag about in our city. And we need to do a better job bragging, talking about our city. We've got great, unique assets and opportunities here. We need to do more to let people know why we live in this great city and why we love this great city we have. That's why we're partnering with GLI, One Southern Indiana, Louisville Tourism, and others in Brookings Institution's Global Cities Initiative. Our goal is to elevate our city on the global stage, to better communicate who we are, what we do, and what we offer. We'll share more about this effort, called the Louisville Global Identity Project, in the months ahead. In the meantime, as your mayor, I'm charging you with one task: brag on your hometown every chance you get. Now let's listen to the master.
I'm from Louisville. I don't want Chicago, New York, or Texas to take the credit for all I've done. It's Louisville. So I want y'all to know that we in Louisville are the greatest of all time. I'm recognized all over the world now, but my greatness came and started in Louisville, Kentucky. And that's one of the greatest cities in America, Louisville, Kentucky.
You'd be disappointed if you didn't get better at your brag. Brag about our great quality of life here, our growing music scene. Brag about our diversity, our culture of entrepreneurship. Choose where you want to jump in. Brag about our city value of compassion, which drives our work to create a city of even greater equity. And here's something else to brag about. Louisville's investing in our youth. We're creating paths to success and opportunity through our SummerWorks youth job program that I talked to y'all about every winter. We started in 2011 with 200 young people. Last year, we employed over 6,200 with great local companies like yours in this room, Humana, Thornton's, Kindred, Norton Healthcare. GE Appliances has been hiring people full-time through their SummerWorks. The SummerWorks experience is especially important for ambitious young people whose families don't have the connections that the young people in most of your families have. And by the way, we're establishing partnerships with the JCPS academies to further align SummerWorks with our core business clusters and train young people for the jobs we have and to keep our economic momentum going for the years ahead. But please understand, government cannot do this work alone. So I'm going to ask something right now. I'd ask for those of you all to raise your hands who work for an organization that has hired a SummerWorks employee or supported someone with a donation. Please raise your hand if you've supported SummerWorks. Okay, look around this room. You should feel bad. You should feel ashamed. You should feel happy and grateful for those that got involved. For context, SummerWorks, our SummerWorks program, is maybe the #2 program of its kind in the country. #1 is Boston. And if the Boston mayor asked that same question up here today, the number of hands raised would be overwhelming. And the people at your table would be looking at you and saying, what's wrong with you? Why don't you have a SummerWorks employee? You said you wanted to help the youth in our community. You've complained about the youth in our community. Can't you take that step to hire at least one young person for SummerWorks? That's the type of culture that we have to create. It's as simple as that. So if you did not raise your hand and you complain about young people, or you think we're worried about the future of our city, say this is a concrete step that I can take. That's basic citizenship. And your city needs you. We need you to help. Joining our SummerWorks program is one of the best ways to show your love for your hometown. There are postcards with information on your table. You can go to summerworks.org to find out more and sign up. And you can also say hello to Chris Locke. Chris is here in the room, standing right here. Chris is our SummerWorks program director. So please, reflect for a moment. Say, I can do something now. $2,500. You hire a young person for the summer. They work for it. They expose you to real life. You expose them to real life, and you both win. So please help us. Please become a SummerWorks employee, because I'm going to come back every winter and keep embarrassing you all until more and more hands go up. Please help us. SummerWorks is also a model for how we create an economy for the future. Everybody working together to bring everybody on board, including people who've made mistakes. We're investing in programs managed by our Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods, like Reimage and our new Thrive Fellowship, which work with young people who've been involved in the justice system and who want to turn their lives around. They just need a break. One thing we already know, education is key to their success. In 2014, we established our Cradle to Career framework, which involves public and private partners working together to help Louisvillians be ready to learn on day one of kindergarten and ready to do the work of the 21st century on day one of their careers. This year, we're taking that work to the next level. I'm proud to announce today that we're transitioning Cradle to Career into a new name called Evolve 502, Louisville's Promise from Cradle to Career, which will coordinate our work to make sure our students have what they need to succeed in school and in life. Here's the reality. We lose too many kids because their families struggle with poverty, substance use, mental health issues, access to health care, transportation, housing, hunger, and a host of other challenges. It's in our common interest to help families meet those challenges so their kids can be better prepared for the future. Evolve 502 will also work to address another critical issue, the high cost of college education. As a community, as a country, as a state, it's foolish, short-sighted, and irresponsible to send high school graduates into a world where post-secondary learning is both essential and ever more unaffordable. Evolve 502 will work with private donors, nationally and locally, to create a scholarship program for JCPS graduates, giving them the opportunity to earn a 2-year college degree or skills certificate tuition-free. Doing this, we'll be following the example frankly set by the Rotary Club of Louisville. Thank you for your all's promised scholarship, which provides the opportunity for 2 years of tuition-free post-secondary education to students from Iroquois and Western High School. Great leadership. We want to expand this type of opportunity throughout Louisville, making the state of our city even stronger. As a city, we have challenges. Yes, we've got a lot of great opportunities. We have so many gifts and so many assets, so much success to build on. Like Muhammad Ali, we have the vision on how to take our city to the next level. So it's time, again, for us to come together, as we have so many times, none more memorably during that first week of June 2016. We gathered then to celebrate the life of Muhammad Ali, but what made it special was that with the whole world watching, we celebrated each other, our common humanity, our shared past, and our shared future right here on the streets of our city. That same spirit of community, connection, of pride and purpose is what we need right now to meet our challenges and take the bold steps necessary to sow the seeds of greatness in every neighborhood, in every man, woman, and child in our city. That's the spirit of Muhammad Ali. That's the spirit of Louisville. Let's embrace that spirit. Us. Together. Now. Let's bring that spirit with us as we create our future, as we write our own story, and keep the state of our city strong. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mayor. Wonderful address. We really appreciate it, and a great vision for the next 3 or 4 years. We have a few minutes for some questions of the mayor. We have remote mics and